The main thing, actually, we've already touched on this a little bit, is that we're never too old and it's never too late to make a shift, to look at something new, choose a new favorite donut, try the sprinkles, try the custard filled, whatever it is. Just dream about it and figure out how to get there, because it can happen at any time.
Hello, everybody. I am Melissa Forziat of Take the Doughnut, here to help you get inspiration and get donuts. I'm a motivational keynote speaker, and today I'm bringing you a Take the Doughnut interview with Sarah Calfee, who consults as Calfee HR Consulting and is the current president of San Diego SHRM. Welcome, Sarah.
Hi, I'm happy to be here and to be talking with you.
Likewise, so excited to have you on and to hear your story. And before we get into anything more serious, I have to ask you, what's your favorite donut?
My favorite donut, it's changed over the years. So it used to, there was a while it was, big fluffy jelly donuts, basically. And then it was old-fashioned glazed. And now I think I have to walk away with two. So it's the old-fashioned glazed and then a big fluffy one, but chocolate covered.
I hear what you're saying.
I need
yeah.
more than...
I mean, when I ask you what's your favorite, it doesn't have to be one favorite. Why am I limiting you like that? That's not fair. Well, I said just a little bit about you up front, but tell us more about yourself. What should we know about you?
Well, let's see. I've been in human resources for approaching 30 years, with the last 24 of those being in San Diego. So very, very centered in California, though I've worked with other companies as well. So a federal standpoint. I have been doing consulting as my primary work since 2018, because I wanted to have a broader impact on society than just the company that I was working for. And to help with that as well, I've also been volunteering with the San Diego SHRM board for the past 5 years, which has been amazing, meeting just collaborative and welcoming HR professionals and others who are HR adjacent, and it's been phenomenal.
Okay, so you have this wonderful long history and this career path. And, we're going to have this Take the Doughnut interview today. And before we get too far into it, I do want to reset that topic for people in case they're not familiar with what Take the Doughnut is all about. So Take the Doughnut for me is another way to say carpe diem. And it comes from this very strange thing that happened to me in college, where I left an actual donut on a table. And that became an object lesson for me in what it looks like to leave opportunities behind. So I don't want to do that anymore. I want to take the donut. I'll link a video here for those who haven't seen that origin story yet. But basically, Sarah, this conversation is all about going after opportunity and what that looks like, practically speaking, when we try to apply that in our real lives. So let me ask you this. How are you with going after goals? What is that process like for you?
I think it's solidified over the years. That's one of the benefits of age, is that we get to refine what we do in our lives. And what I was thinking about this the other day, and there's a process that I follow, which is, the first one is to think about, what is that vision? What is it that I see as that end picture? What am I trying to get to? And it might not be something specific. It might be more of a state, like I want to impact such and such, as opposed to I want to be a such and such. And then I either go backwards from that goal of the steps that have to be taken to get there. So it's like, well, what do I have to do before that? Okay, what do I have to do before that? And I back it up, or I go to where I am now and think about what's the next step I can follow. And either way, I get this, basically a list of things that I need to do to get there, with a time frame associated with it, so that now I know the first step I need to do. Instead of thinking of the whole huge picture, I know that first step and I can accomplish that. And then I do the next one and I go piece by piece by piece.
Okay, great way to break it down for yourself, and a great tip for everybody else as well. So when you have a really big picture that you're going for, what keeps you motivated in that process, especially if you know it's going to take a while to get to the thing, the ultimate outcome?
I think the number one, the overall one, is basically daydreaming about that end goal, thinking about, oh, if I do that, then I can do this and I could do that, and engaging with people on it, talking about it with people, maybe talking to people that are sort of in that space so that I can continue to be motivated to get there. And when you share it, it gets encouragement around you. You know, people tend to support you with that. And then the other part of it is because I've set up that process, I've got those mini goals, and each one that I accomplish, I can see and I check it off and I keep track of that. It's not just, I don't delete it. So now I just have the remaining, I actually check it off. So I don't just see what I have remaining, but I see what I've also accomplished, because every step of the way I get closer and I feel closer to what it is that I want to be doing.
Okay, excellent. And so the process is itself, you found motivation in the process, which I love. When you are going after things that you want, or big goals that you have, a lot of times challenges come up, obstacles come in our way. And I'm curious for you if there's a particular brand of challenge that just seems to keep coming up no matter what you do. Like, is there an Achilles heel for you?
Yeah, there is. It's self-talk. So I'm not the greatest at encouraging myself. I am really good at questioning myself. And it just, when I read your profile and read about taking the donut, it resonated. I'm sitting there going, oh, I can envision that donut in front of me. And I know I've done that. I've left the last one there, or there's the last one. So I'll cut it in half, or if there's half of one, I'll cut it into a quarter, you know, whatever it is, I start to minimizing it because I don't feel like I deserve the whole one, even though everybody else has already had a whole donut. So it's doubting myself and what I'm capable of, or is the journey too big for me? Should somebody else be doing it? Are they going to be better at it? It's really just that negative self-talk.
Mm. I mean, it comes up so often, right? We talk ourselves out of the thing or the entirety of the thing, and we just take a little piece of it, which makes it not the same thing that we were pursuing before. So I bet a lot of people can resonate with what you just said there. When you think back on your life, what would you say is the biggest donut you've ever taken? And that could be personal or professional, whatever comes to mind for you.
You know, there's definition of big donut. So there's things that had the greatest personal challenge or change, which I think, you know, having children, for example, is just a massive shift in life to become a mom. But it wasn't emotionally, it wasn't the biggest challenge for me to overcome, because I always thought I was going to do that. So I didn't doubt myself or anything along those lines. I think the number one biggest challenge actually was just a few years ago. And it was when I decided to go to law school in my 50s, which meant really intense learning in a format that I was not familiar with, learning a whole different language, taking on significant debt, and deciding I am now going to shift my career to something that people usually do that are at least half my age. I mean, they're not much older than that if they are. So it was scary, and I had a lot of people question me. And so, yeah, I questioned myself a lot during that process, but it was thinking about why I want to do it and talking to people that have done it before and whether they thought it was a good idea. You know, is this something I'm capable of doing? And yeah, that has to be the largest donut. I'm not done eating it yet, but it's the largest one that I've taken.
Oh, that's amazing. And, you know, I think also that you associate it with being so big because of your age. Like, I think, you know, would it have been a smaller donut earlier in your life? Hard to say, you know, but I think you perceive it differently now. So, but I think it's very encouraging for anybody to see that, like, maybe you just do the thing that you want regardless of where you are in your life. It's a beautiful message. It might be the same answer given how you just ended that, but what is a donut that you're taking right now?
It's not exactly the same answer, but it is related. So that next donut that I'm working on designing, I got to look for the recipe, is actually having my own law firm. So not just going to work for somebody else, which there's a lot of things that go into that. Partly it's my age. Do I want to start at the bottom in a law firm at this point in my life? But partly it's also, I've had my own business for a number of years. And do I want to go work for somebody else? Not really. I'd like to work for myself. And so starting a law firm on my own which is very daunting. There's a lot of rules that go around it that don't relate to, it was much easier to start an HR consulting business. Starting a law firm is a whole different ballgame.
Okay. So that's definitely something in progress for you. Who knows, maybe somebody who is hearing this has some wisdom that they can share on the road to that. But it sounds like you're in progress. You're doing the steps that you need to start taking care of it. It's interesting that it's so much more complicated than an HR consulting practice, though.
Yeah, much more. I'm in process of writing my business plan, which is probably the most daunting thing of all of it, is figuring all of that stuff out. But yeah, it's much more complicated.
Well, we'll be cheering you on from the sidelines. And, there may be people listening to this right now who need encouragement of their own, right? They might have a donut that they want to take. It could still be an idea for them, or it could be something that they've started to move towards, but let's sprinkle some encouragement. And what would you say to those people?
I would start off by saying that no one's ever going to take the donut and hand it to you. So they're going to take it for themselves. They're going to eat it. And you're going to be like, oh, why didn't I do that? I wish I had done that. And the thing about that is that you can have that moment where you wish, oh, if I had only blank. I mean, I think about law school and it's like, wow, if I had just done that 20 or 30 years ago, life would have been a lot easier, but then I wouldn't have had all these experiences. And it came up. So it's later in life for me. And so there's going to be another donut. So if you've already missed one, if you already regret one, stop regretting, make that decision that you're not going to regret it in the future, and look at the next ones that are coming up, because at some point you're taking it, you're not taking somebody else's. It's your opportunity. Somebody else is going to get another donut somewhere. It's fine. So you're not taking somebody else's space. You don't have to share it. You can take it for yourself and make it happen. And I feel like the main thing, actually, we've already touched on this a little bit, is that we're never too old and it's never too late to make a shift, to look at something new, choose a new favorite donut, try the sprinkles, try the custard filled, whatever it is. Just dream about it and figure out how to get there, because it can happen at any time.
Oh, that's so great. I mean, that was solid gold, really. I hope that encourages people wherever they are, whatever they're doing, whatever age they are right now, go after the thing, because nobody's going to give it to you. You have to start the process yourself. So, Sarah, where can we find you if we want to learn more about what you're up to? And before you answer that, I guess we should also just point out here that one of the reasons we're doing this conversation is that I will be doing a keynote at the annual conference coming up for San Diego SHRM. So feel free to mention anything about that as well.
Yeah, our conference is coming up on November 7th. So as long as it's not November 7th, you can still register for our conference. It's going to be a full day at the Prado. If you're from San Diego, you generally know what that is. It's a beautiful facility in Balboa Park, a historic, beautiful facility. And we'll be having all day speakers, 2 keynotes, a morning one, and then the closing one with you. I'm very excited to hear, and then breakout sessions throughout the day and some tasty lunch and a happy hour at the end of it. So time to connect with your community and have some time there. So yeah, so that conference is coming up. I'll definitely be there. We also, where you will see me are at our San Diego SHRM events. So you'll be seeing me at least through the next year at these events. We have breakfast sessions and educational sessions and mixers once a quarter. And we have our conference. We have a couple of new events coming up in April that are exciting, that I'm not prepared to tell you exactly what they are, but very exciting events coming up in April. And the National SHRM Conference will be here at the end of June. So I'll be there as well. And you can find information on all of this at SDSHRM. That's SDSHRM.org. And you'll see the conference and you'll see everything else going on. Aside from that, just for me personally, I'm on LinkedIn. That's always, for me, that's the best place to find me. But you can also find me at my website, which is calfeehr.com. It's not the most exciting website, but there is a contact form in there. And on LinkedIn, my contact information is there. I love to connect with people. I love to talk to people that have done things that I can learn from, whether it's something I've never done before or somebody that's done it before I've gotten there. But I also love talking to the people that are curious and exploring something new. So don't hesitate to connect. And the next one will be, you'll see Sarah Calfee Esquire with a law firm, but that's a little ways off, but it'll be there.
We'll be on the lookout for that. That's going to be exciting. So everybody be sure to check out those resources. I'll make sure I have links in the description so you can find them more easily. And I know we're all going to be really excited to follow your journey. If you liked hearing Sarah's story, be sure to like and subscribe on this video because there's so many more inspirational interviews still to come. But in the meantime, thank you so much, Sarah, for taking time and talking with me and with all of us about taking the donut and what that looks like for you.
Well, thank you very much for having me. And I am, again, very excited to hear you talk. Everybody come to our conference, at least so that you can hear Melissa.
Yes, please do not miss it. That's what I say. Okay, everybody, you know what to do. Get inspiration, get donuts. Bye.